Hello, class. Today I'm just a little bit more tired than usual, but that's all right. That's all right. I'm gonna put on that smile and we're gonna get through this because all I gotta talk about is weather, or specifically area of operations 3, task alpha, weather information. Okay, so I'm just gonna go over some general stuff. Since y'all are, private pilot, I'm teaching you instrument knowledge. You should already have pretty adequate information, and this should just be a refresher for you. All right. Just gonna explain it in simple general terms. All right, when we talk about ASOS and ATIS, that's just a frequency in which we're gonna listen to, and it's gonna tell us information. Winds are 290 at 10 knots. That means they're coming from the direction from 290, and they're 10 knots strong, so it's a force of 10 knots. Okay, and it's gonna go some information like the altimeter, the temperatures, and of that information is gonna. And usually the ATIS is some guy talking about it. The ASOS is usually some robot in that voice that I was talking about earlier. And that's just some frequency you can listen to. Some other sources of information are from the NOAA, which is National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, and the 1-800 weather briefing. You guys should know about that, and some other frequencies you can get it. But mainly you'll probably just look at ForeFlight and just go over here, pull out, like, oh, let me look at this little flight plan. Let me go to flights. Let me go to, give me a little weather briefing over here, top right corner. You can see that little green. And then that's how unable to generate briefing. It's probably I did something wrong. Probably did some kind of calculation. I don't know, whatever. We skipped through that. Now we're going to talk about some other information. Right, we're going to talk about, let's see, METARs, TAFs, and general graphical forecast for aviation. So we go to weather here. Talks about the METARs, and ForeFlight kind of already translate all this information for you. But if you had to decode the METAR, it's basically what it's saying. The kitty yellow, the time, auto. Once again, the wind nods. We're talking about the visibility, the clouds, temperatures, and TAF. A METAR, remember, is a meteorological report, so that's the actual conditions. A TAF is a terminal aerodrome forecast, so this is what it's kind of predicting, guessing. So, you can use the TAF as like, as a, advisory, like, oh, okay, it might be that around, whenever you're talking about it. But METAR are actual reports of the actual weather at that time. So, it's an important distinction to make. Let's see what else we gotta talk about today. And then in-flight weather advisories. Nah, I skipped that. Surface weather analysis charts and radar charts. Okay, let's see if I can actually pull this up this time, because it's easier if I just go through this briefing and we actually just talk about this. Run time and route must be provided. Okay, I got it. I figured it out. I just have to hit the refresh. We got it. And that's a 1 minute on the clock wasted. Low key, don't matter though, because we gotta breeze through this real quick. If this will load. If this will load. And it loaded. And now we go over the temporary flight restrictions. Basically, you just can't fly over there, and it tells you the areas, how long they're for. Basically, if they're red, it's pretty active, and you can't fly through there. Simple as that. Segments, these are weather advisories. This one is a convective segment. Oh, so that means there's thunderstorms. Well, that's not good. So if this was our flight plan, we'd probably be wary of that red O area. It's like, oh, that's thunderstorm. That's pretty bad. We don't want to fly into that. These are airments, right? So once again, these are hazardous, but they're more like warnings, not as bad as segments or convective segments. But once again, this one is IFR, so it's just warning you about, oh, this is coastal fog over here. It's just will be foggy and obscure your vision. Just, in the mountain obscurations, it's just more in the mountain region. Icing, pretty bad. We don't want to go into icing. But it'll tell you the tops of, it's going to be at 27,000 and the base is at 15,000, which, our surface ceiling would nowhere near touch that, so we don't have to worry. And the surface knowledge charts, we got our high and low pressures, our stationary fronts, because you can see that they're white and red, blue and red. They're going, they're two fronts, warm front, cool front, getting stuck stationary to each other. Once again, just refreshing your information that you already know about. Then a dry line and isobar. Basically, you should already all know this stuff. METAR, we kind of already talked about. Those are reports, and goes over all the reports that which you're going to see at your little flight plan. Good thing this does the weather briefing for you. PIREPs are actual pirate reports, and so that's even more better than METARs, because METARs is a machine telling you, like, yeah, that's the weather. That's what I think. But what you actually see out there, it could be saying that it's 10 statute miles, but then you actually go out there and you can only see like 2 statute miles in front of you. You're like, what the heck? This machine's lying to me. I blame the AI. Or something like that. And then, yeah, the cloud coverage is important to compare that with icing levels. So, because for icing you need visible moisture and freezing temperatures. So that's why it's important to look at the icing levels and visible moisture, which are clouds. That's why cloud coverage is important. And then winds. And then TAS, we already talked about it. It's kind of just forecast. We don't really know too much about that. Winds. And you can just skip all that. And then winds a lot, once again. And NOTAMs. It's basically, just checking to see if there's anything of importance. Alright. And we look through the NOTAMs, see if anything's important. There's a notice to airmen. They could say like a runway's closed. That's something pretty important to know about. Or maybe, you're doing a different approach and it's saying that approach is no longer active. That's something important to know about. Things of that nature. And maybe there's certain taxi clothes that you just want to quickly brief through and look at that information. And overall, let's see what else we have to cover. So I kind of covered a good chunk of stuff. Freezing, temperature, segment, and low key, that's it. Once again, you can just look at your resources, look at your aviation weather handbook. If there's something you really don't know too much about, easy find. Watch some YouTube videos. Those are also pretty good. And yeah, stay safe. Remember, 91.3, you're PC, your pilot in command. And if you ever feel like any weather conditions are outside of your personal minimums, you can always say no. Stay safe, stay sharp, and see ya!